until 5 minutes before I give the final exam. They're very strict about final exam security in the math department. I am very, very intense about it. So I will be able to give you no information about the final exam whatsoever. And even if I email the coordinator for the course and ask him for any information about the final whatsoever, he'll email back to me, tell them to study the course outline, which is everything. All right? So that's happened in the past. I've emailed them before, or there are different ones. It depends on what class I'm teaching. They always go back to the same thing. Just tell them to study the course outline. But I'm like, you might as well say, well, open the book and start studying, you know, because it's the whole thing.
Do you know the average of the passing grade for the exam?
You mean the average graded for the final exams?
Yeah.
They're not good in general.
Say like a C or 68%? What were you saying?
Yeah, maybe.
Somewhere in between there, you're saying?
Yeah, probably somewhere between C and D.
What about in class?
Rarely do people make A's on the final exams. So do not make a bet for yourself that I'll catch up for the final exam. It's not going to happen, man. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. All right. The final exam, if you're doing fantastic, will probably drop you to a low A, even if you're doing fantastic, or a B. Right? You should take the final exam very seriously. It's 25% of your grade, and it is not handled well in general.
Who makes the final exam?
More than last time. Usually it's like 15% what they take in the last test grade.
Now they do take they take your worst test grade of the 4, and they replace it with the final exam grade if it's better.
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay.
Don't be too thankful.
Wait, what?
Your final exam is going to be your worst grade, probably.
I don't know. I've had some pretty rough starts.
You'd have to skip these. No, I mean, I'm just trying to be honest with you what I've seen in the past, and I don't want to scare you, but I want you to be very honest with yourself about the final exam, and don't let it hurt you, right? Study hard for that final exam. It's better in these semesters because you don't have a lot to remember. It's only been a few weeks. So it makes it a little bit easier to cover all the information when the information is still kind of present with you. But people do not do well in the final exams in general. Chan, you were saying?
If you have all A's on the first 4 exams, can you skip the final?
No. No. The final is...
Doesn't work that way.
Is that RCB?
Oh, no. Never heard such a thing. Never heard such a thing.
You're in a Maryland school. They're very tough with the grading.
Associated.
108 to even be thought about beating them.
The 4 exams that I'm going to administer to you that are of my creating will be much like the homework problems from the textbook. And in general will not require a calculator to be done. In general. Maybe there's a few computations you might want to do with a calculator or something, but again, you will not be at a great disadvantage, or really any, if you don't have a calculator for your first 4 exams. With the final, I don't know if it's, I doubt that it is multiple choice. I don't know, but I would doubt it. Just some exams I've seen given, not for calculus, for other courses at HCC, are part multiple choice and part short answer. And I've seen all that are just short answer. I really don't know which it will be.
They always change what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they could change it, yeah.
They always change the final exam, like every semester.
I guess.
I think Calc 2 is all paper. I think Calc 1 is all paper.
It's all paper, right? Yeah. Yeah, Calc 2 is all paper, I know that. Calc 3 is all paper. Yeah. Just be aware.
Who writes the final exam?
Me. But according to their rubric. I mean, there's a laid out rubric as to how many points allotted for each question, and what mistakes require what minus of points and things like that. It's totally laid out.
Okay.
How it's graded. What's that?
Partial credit?
There is partial credit. But there has been in the past. They never do all or nothing. I've never seen all or nothing. But you know, partial credit's going to be for significant work. You know, it has to be something. You know what I'm saying?
You can't just write the formula down.
You can't just write the question over again or something like that, right? Whatever. You know. I just want you to be aware of the final exam threat
The scary.
that you're up against. Okay, 2.6, continuity. Now that we have limits, we can define continuity. It is defined in terms of limits. continuity we were talking about right now is continuity at a point, and not continuity over an interval. Continuity at one clear location. Right? So the symbols involving limits are this. If this is true, if this limit is true, if the limit of x f of x as x approaches a is f of a, then this is the definition of continuity. Then f of x is continuous at x equals a. Okay? Continuity at that one location. So this is the mathematical definition, which is meant to conform to the idea that you've heard before, that a function is continuous if you can draw it without lifting up the pencil, right? That's what this is trying to accomplish using the definition of limits. So for example, I'll just draw a continuous function. There, a polynomial. We just said before that polynomials are always continuous, they have no breaks, no asymptotes, or anything like that. So let's call this location right here A. Okay? So is it true that the limit of f of x as x approaches a is f of a? Is that true? Well, this dot here, since it's on this function, whatever this polynomial is the pair a comma f of a, right? That's that dot, right? X coordinate comma height of the function, right? And if you approach a from both sides, the function is certainly heading towards that location, right? So yes, it's true. The limit of f of x as x approaches a is that y coordinate there. It is f of a, and that's what we're calling continuous. And so it does conform exactly what you think, right? If you were to draw here some little narrow window, so you could draw through this thing, right, like that, without lifting the pen, and you would go through that point.
So in other words, the function has no hole.
That is one thing it's saying. That's one thing it's saying. It has no hold, it has no break, it has no asymptote. That's what all this is saying together. Let's say the three things it's saying. This is the way the book explains it. It's a very good way to explain it. This definition says three things. One, for these two things to equal each other, they must both exist. Okay? This is the way you want to think about this for the questions that we're going to have here in just a moment. That's not a good, there we go. This thing exists. For it to equal something else, it must exist. This thing also exists. Okay? Those are two things that this statement is saying. And it does not mean they have to be the same. Right? Only for this definition are they the same. And they are the same. That's the third thing it's saying. And they are the same. Okay? I'll give you a quick example. Okay. And this is f of x. Limit of f of x as x approaches a. The left-hand side of this equality. Left-hand side is definition, right? Meaning when I say left and right, I'm just looking at this part over here. Here's the left, and here's the right, okay? Of the equality. Does the left-hand part exist? According to the picture, according to this picture right here. Left-hand side exists? Yes. This exists. Okay? What about